Right, I'm going to make this really quick. I haven't posted videos because basically I'm going to have to keep this video really to the point. The landlady, Alice Victoria Scott, should be arrested. On the 5th of July, I went to the county court for her possession order. And this is the landlady, yes. And a very evil, mentally disturbed woman. 85-year-old retired matron who worked, I think, at the Royal Sussex Hospital. I don't care anyway. But she's just as disturbed as the two tenants that have abused me. In fact, actually, she's also perjuring. What she's done is so dangerous. She's perjuring not only herself but also the maintenance man and the lady that was in room 2. She's really got to be careful what she says, really, because it will fall on her head if those people say, I never said that, because it never happened, what she's claiming. In fact, the maintenance man who had a mental breakdown, his father was quite nice and sympathetic towards me. And Ellie, the lady in room 2 at the property at Whitley Road in Eastbourne, I was told by the Milestone group that she was moving out when I was being shown around. And she's put in the libelous statement that it was Remy who suggested that she illegally changed the locks, which is a criminal offence of up to 2 years in prison. She attempted this on the 4th of March. Now she's gone ahead and done it. The county court judge in Hastings and both very rude BHT legal representatives think that the landlady is mad. She is. That there was a very rude, obnoxious BHT legal advisor. As soon as me and my partner arrived, she was saying we'd arrived over an hour early and she was flustered. She was having a go at us, even though we'd turned up early. They were running late because there are a lot of possession orders. A lot of people are being made homeless, I guess. It's up to 14 years in prison for malfeasance of office by police attending bailiff. But you see it on YouTube all the time. A lot of police officers who should be in prison for up to life, for their malfeasance of office to me. And I've just had a woman who's apparently got a bit of a bad name for herself. She's shown me her true colours. Yes, another lovely lady who's saying I shouldn't say bad things about the police and they've got families, and yet she's shown me compassion on my Facebook wall. And she's been upsetting people. Oh, yes, and she said that speaking out the truth will get your freedoms taken from you. Really? And I'm a racist. Really? Well, I'll tell you what, if I don't kill myself, because I've been having suicidal thoughts again, seriously, I've been thinking about wrapping this wire around my neck because of what this landlady has done, and I'll tell you in a minute. But I'm thinking I'm going to make my late mother proud. Well, she was already proud of me before she died. My mother was a real brave woman. She travelled the world. She would be 86. Not like this evil, demented woman. Oh, by the way, this landlady had a fall the other day, apparently. I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. Because this is what happens when the pagans call it karma. But even in scripture, don't mess with the wrath of the Creator. Whatever you do, because your wickedness will come back on you. Like a true empath, I am really, really, really fighting this. I still haven't said what has happened, but there's a march in London tomorrow, the Freedom Rally. Paul Thorpe and the very brave hero Tommy Robinson will be there. Now, I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. My partner a few weeks ago thought Paul Thorpe was in Eastbourne and he got him to leave me a voice message. Unfortunately, I don't have that voice message anymore. But I did make a video where I played his voice message, but that was before what this evil landlady has done to me. But I said, if I kill myself, I will die speaking out first. And I tell you what, I'm in such pain right now. Don't be fooled by what you see. But basically, I'm having suicidal thoughts. I've recorded adult social care saying they wouldn't help me. Because of course I've been illegally locked out of the house. Now, so I've gone off on a tangent, but basically on Friday the 5th of July, there was a possession order. And the landlady, as I said, I could be here a long time talking about what she's put in this libelous statement. It would be funny if I wasn't suicidal, if she hadn't done what she's done. It would be humorous because you couldn't make it up. And the judge will be able to look into these things if she doesn't get done for manslaughter, because of course I'm in an extremely suicidal state. But she basically, when we returned to the property, she had changed all the locks. The back door, obviously I'm being unbelievably calm, but I've had years of criminal gang stalking and, like a VOMIT, victim of Masonic ill treatment, the 77 Brigade, whatever. This town has got a Freemason lodge. Jeff messaged me. I know a lot about the Freemasons anyway. I worked with a Freemason and I've done the research. There's nothing I, don't know on a basic level, but there's a local lodge, yes, and we know, but boots on the ground, I've got the evidence of what has been done to me, in general. But yes, there's been a breach of GDPR, but there's also, this town is known for malicious gossip, and there is a lot of jealousy. There is. My late mother had an amazing life at sea. She travelled the world, and she said how people moan in this country they don't do anything. She did. She was very active. She got out there. She was a very brave. She could have written a book about her life. And then this nutcase, this nutcase landlady who's lost a niece to suicide, so she told me. Was she going to lose a tenant to suicide as well? But those two tenants, honestly, I thought moving into a private house share people would be normal. I mean, my middle sister lived in a private house share. Yes, she knew a man who owned a house, but they were normal people. Or really, is this just an Eastbourne thing? I mean, this property that she's locked me out of, apparently it used to be a supported accommodation, so maybe they've left behind a few, a couple of odd ends, because the woman next door, by the way, I've got two witnesses. I've got my partner's locksmith and someone else, I won't say who said that she saw men at the property changing the locks and things going on. But the woman on the other side owns the house, which is a supported accommodation, and her boss was someone who, funnily enough, a creep who came to my late mother's house and basically exploited me into the system. But this landlady has got some things really wrong about me. She thinks she's clever. I didn't work for Southdown Housing, no. Without saying too much, I know a couple of people who did work for Southdown Housing Association, and they also exploited me in supported accommodation, but I never worked for them. You see, you have to be careful when you're trying to glean things and malicious gossip. No, I really don't care. I really don't care. Because it's going to fall on your head. But, so anyway, we returned from the county court. She changed the locks. My partner's locksmith, who has, he owns the business. He owns, is it Armoury something in Hastings, and he's got a really good reputation. Not like the ex-police officer the ex-police officer turned locksmith that did this, or attempted to, no. Because he did the right thing, this locksmith. He rang the landlady and she said, I don't want you changing the locks. And he didn't. Because he has to get the permission of the person that the property belongs to. So unlike this bent ex-cop turned locksmith, but he said he would act as a witness. So yes, there are grounds for compensation on more than one level, but she hasn't once been arrested. But isn't it funny that the police shoved this under my door? But that's a civil matter. It's a civil matter. And when that school teacher was attacking me and my partner, and yes, as long as I'm still alive, I will still pursue that, because I did report it to the RT, the Teachers Regulation Authority, because you couldn't make this up. She even said in the statement, it took me a few weeks to sort of actually read the statement because I couldn't take it in. That's why the BHT advisor said, because she described me as a spinster, an old spinster, me. She said no one uses language like this anymore. She's a fantasist. So Yes, she certainly is a fantasist, and so is Dion, the demented school teacher. Well, I've got evidence of her calling my partner a CUNT. I've got evidence of a text message where the landlady is saying it's all right for a school teacher to smoke cannabis. It's not. It's up to 5 years in jail. It is illegal in the UK. And if she thinks that I am racist because of what I said about illegal immigrants, well, I haven't mentioned any race, have I? I've just said illegal immigrants, which means people that are here illegally. And that's nothing to do with race. That's to do with people being here illegally. But by the way, there are people coming from all over the world tomorrow. One of them being, I've just seen a Pakistani man who's coming over from Australia. And he was saying how he's so for this movement and British patriots being British, because he said Pakistan, his home country, is an Islamic country, but the extremism is a threat to our civilization. So there will be people from all ethnicities, all skin colours, children, the disabled, you name it. You name it, they'll all be there. There'll be up to 1 million people celebrating being British. I have contacted 2 people from Eastbourne, one of whom, I'm going on a tangent here, one of whom said that Eastbourne is a, what did he say? A left-wing loony town. There's a lot of it in this town. Don't I know it? So I've said, yes, I'll meet up with you. I need to meet some sane people in this town, because you go to Matthew 25, or you go to the People's Assembly. Well, a lot of people have shown their true colours, and they're just cowards. I am my late mother's daughter. My late mother would be 86. She shouted in church against the appraisal of a headmaster that the PTA wanted to get rid of because he was a bit of a pervert. And Ray Savage, who was one of the speakers at the Truthers Conference, is friends with the mother of children I played with, who also supported my mother in that, what I've just said. Yes, of course she was criticised because she interrupted the church. Well, church can be anything, can mean anything, but appraisal for someone who was really disliked by the silent majority, and on the quiet, people applauded my mother. That's me. So, but thank you, Chantel, for showing me your true colours. I don't know if you know about my YouTube. I really don't care. The fakery, the, nicey, cup of tea and a cake, and forget about the insulting, horrendous things I've just said to you, and take my covert, narcissistic, passive-aggressive BS. No. Because the thing, as someone was saying on a narcissistic channel, a CIA insider or operative was speaking out about narcissism and sociopathy and psychopathy. He said that that basically, I've gone blank. What did this CIA operative say? Oh, I've forgotten now. It was really interesting what he said. I've gone blank. But he was talking about narcissism. Sorry, because I haven't slept. Narcissism, sociopathy, and but basically he met his wife, who came out of an abusive, narcissistic relationship after 7 years, and was offered a job as a CIA spy, just like him. No, I've totally forgotten what I was going to say. It was absolutely fascinating, though. He pointed out something that, well, anyway, he did say that it takes years to, for them, they get to a certain age where they, each personality disorder, mental illness, they have to work on their victim. They have to work on people, and it can take years to master the art of abusing someone to that degree. To get it's to get them into a pattern of because he said something interesting. He said liking someone is not the same as gaining. You have to earn someone's trust, but with women, they just naturally trust you. That's it. He said in Western culture, we are us Western women. The problem for us is, he said, Western women need to break free from the societal norms of Western culture, this social engineering of being nicey. But he said, obviously, he said a lot more than that, and he said it in intricate detail and everything. But I just wanted to point that out because I could be here forever. But isn't it amazing that the police didn't come out when that school teacher was attacking me? I wonder what happened to that complaint to the IOPC. Will have gone up someone's bottom, but there was a police officer who actually said he could smell cannabis. And I went from being scared of the police to saying, well, search me then. Because they were laughing because they said they saw me with a cigarette in my hand, which is funny because I can't stand cigarettes. In fact, I'm so angry that I want the council and the public servants to actually hand out £100 fines for illegal smoking in bus shelters, because I've made a complaint about Tesco employees doing that. And it doesn't look good for Tesco when they're smoking just outside the door. Just like the cyclist on pavement that zoomed past. They've already illegally cycled on the promenade, hitting a 3-year-old in a hit and run. So much for the highway code, but there's so much nonsense going on. But if the police could actually smell cannabis, and I've got evidence of the landlady saying it's all right for her to... she should be arrested. I've been self-funding a hotel for 3 weeks. The judge is now, because the landlady has, interestingly, but not surprisingly, withdrawn her possession claim. And what she did was, when I returned on the 5th of July from the county court, because she's all over the place, she doesn't know what she's doing. That's probably why she had a fall, because she's just full of hatred and bitterness. My partner went back to the property hours later to find that she had put 2 of my suitcases outside where they could be stolen. She's stuffed a load of stuff in there, mostly junk. I've got a crippling OCD, and I've got one more thing else to say, talking about illness. She's damaged some of my possessions. I've still got a load of valuables. The judge has said that she will tell the landlady not to touch my things, and that she'll be given 12 hours where she's got to let me in, or they will call bailiffs to her property. Her property, Alice Victoria Scott, the landlady, is at Bedfordwell Road. It's just 1 or 2 houses up, just over the bridge, up from Whitley Road. So she hasn't got far to walk. She doesn't live in Malta. Which is why the demented woman she even walked. Can you believe this? She even looked in to see that I had an error up. And I think she might have put that in her libelous statement about me. But what kind of a landlady describes one of their tenants as a spinster anyway? It's a derogatory term. I, Alice Victoria Scott, of good character. You're going to get done for... Not only are you in contempt of court, but you're going to get done for... you're under the penalty of perjury. And you're also perjuring others. Because if they are called to the stand to prove what you're saying, because you'll have to give an oath, you'll have to either swear on the Bible or, give a, swear yourself in thing. Which means if they were called to the stand, because you're saying those individuals, I had no contact. I don't know Ellie. I'd never met her before. She was moving out when I moved in. She seemed quite nervous as well, as if she too had been bullied. And, I said one thing to her about, do you mind my hairbrushes being in the sink? And she said, oh, no. That was the only thing I said to her the whole time that she was there. And she was only there for about a week or 2, and then she moved out. And she's saying that Ellie heard me screaming and shouting, and I was being abusive, and do. I self-funded the Cavendish Hotel for night. Oh, by the way, but she also said that, this is funny, this is a real humdinger. And I can prove it as well. Because she doesn't even know what she's saying. She's got the dates wrong. She's listening to what I'm saying, and she's getting it all scrambled up. This is a woman who said she'd help me write a book, and she sounded so compos mentis, but she's not. She said that when I self-funded a hotel for 5 nights in January because there was no bathroom to use, because unlike them, I'm clean, that while she was... she even said that I stayed at the Albion. There's no Albion Hotel. I think I know where she got that from. Eastbourne Borough Council. There's a Royal Albion Hotel in Brighton. But the funny thing is, that was in January, while the bathroom was being fitted. I kept the dates. On the 6th of February, I said that she installed a new radiator, a working radiator rather, in my room. Well, do you know what she's done? She said that she's taken that information, got it all muddled up, and said that on the 6th of February, I self-funded a hotel. And the reason being because I didn't want to disturb anyone. Yeah, that really makes sense, Victoria. Oh, sorry, Alice. Obviously, she's calling herself Victoria, maybe because maybe in her childhood she heard the name Alice when she was being told off and she didn't like it. That's usually why people change their names. They don't like hearing it for certain reasons. Well, Alice, very badly behaved. You see, the narcissists, they get worse with age. I know, because when I worked in care, not for Southdown, I was bullied so badly by a matron it made me physically ill, which brings me to the next thing I want to say. For the past 3 weeks, I have been self-funding a hotel because of what this woman has done to me. You know, basically leaving me destitute, which is what they want, homeless. Thank goodness I just about have some funds left. I was starting to save up. I need to find out what's happened to this DHP, and there's so much more to say, but I want to just get this, just keep to the point. I was all night in A&E a few nights back. Well, about a week ago, when we returned from the court after the judge said, you know, she will, because now that the landlady has withdrawn her possession order, I am now the claimant. So we've switched roles, and she's the defendant. Right, so I've got to wait, though, for the court hearing. And that's if I haven't killed myself before then, because I have been crying. I will get to that in a minute. But I spent all night in A&E with my partner because I had a twisted muscle. And I found out, I didn't realise, I know I'm slightly anemic, but since 2019, which is an interesting time because that's when I was being, throughout those years, horrifically beaten by the police and made homeless by the council, and basically gang stalking, bullying and all that, and psychiatric abuse, and obviously Shani, the nurse who illegally forcibly injected me, and the rest of it, and they ramped up the abuse each time basically. But what was I going to say? I was going to say something. So I've learned that was the last time I had a blood test in 2019. It was at a healthy level. Well, I apparently have lost an awful lot of blood since then, and I don't want to be graphic, especially as I'm a female, but I have learnt, because it's not normal for someone of my age to experience what I'm experiencing at my time of life, as it were. And I need a blood transfusion, but I believe that this is all stress-induced because, as I've kept saying over and over and over again, I am physically drained. Because the doctor said to me in A&E, he said, are you out of breath? Are you tired all the time? I said, well, funny you should say it. He said, you get headache? I said, well, I'm exhausted all the time, anemic. He said, this is not a normal level. So, but I didn't accept a blood transfusion because I'm not a Jehovah's Witness, but because of what the Bible says, what Scripture says about you shouldn't take blood. So I don't want to. I don't think it's right to accept another person's blood either way. Anyway, I'm not happy to do it, even if it has been cleansed. Unfortunately, there's no alternative option because hemoglobin is only in blood, and that's what I need. Hemoglobin. Now, I'm not a medical person, but that's all I know. But they put me on a drip thing and put iron, a saline, what do you call it, solution of iron, which looks, funnily enough, it does look like blood. It's like that fig juice. But yeah, so anyway, but I know that this is definitely all stress induced. It's like everything. But I have been very worried about my physical health, but it is just very strange that I didn't realise that I'd lost so much blood. And while I was in A&E all night long, I saw PC Lines and PC Ford. Yes, the female and the male thugs, still wanted for their crimes, which should be investigated. But anyway, the only reason why I got into this damn property in the first place is because the legal ombudsman are investigating the fact that the people who now have to deal with me back at the council, you see, it's like tennis. It's like narcissistic tennis. I don't want to know, bat it back here, bat it back there. I could spend my whole life wasting it, batting it backwards and forwards between these demented psychopaths, because that is what they are. Narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths. In America, in a room of 10 people, you'll get at least one of all three, of one of those three. Statistics. But anyway, so yeah, so this goes back to the council, but I'm a vulnerable customer champion with the legal ombudsman again. So Chantel, I'll say it again. The legal ombudsman tried to get me compensation for the law firm, I'll say it, Cramp and Mullany, that bent solicitor that when they tried to get me in prison over a welfare check on Beachy Head. Yes, you couldn't make it up. I could have sued the Herald for libel. I can even name the woman, dare I say her name, because she's a good woman. Karen Sharp. Talk about being sharp and on the ball. This was before I went into... so this was the woman who tried to get me compensation for the crime against humanity, because these are war crimes. Like Shani illegally forcibly injecting me just before Convid, this was, with I don't know what substance. It is a hangable offence under Nuremberg trials to this day. You have to have a wet ink signature. This is why I am being... Yes, but more people are going to know about me. But what with this Labour government, there's going to be shadow banning of videos. But I'm an unknown... I mean, really, these people need to get a life. But they don't. I mean, if I moved into a property and I knew that someone had a YouTube channel, it's my right to comment. It's not my right to abuse that person. They have rights under the freedom of, what do you call it? The freedom of... It's to do with the freedom of filming in public and their rights, data... when you set things up on social media, that's no one's business. It's their business to comment. Yeah, comment online. You don't harass people. You don't go into a property and expect it. Oh, she's got a YouTube channel. Oh, so what? Get a life. I mean, this school teacher, Ratton school teacher, Dion Markland. I mean, seriously, we were having a cup of tea and she came in and she's, you're racist. They're putting their face in my laptop whilst saying, don't film me. They're getting their face right up to the camera and I'm saying, excuse me, it's on YouTube. It's all on YouTube for evidence. And I politely asked her not to play music. She was playing music so loud. She was breaching breaching the contract in so many ways as a tenant. Do you think my sister had this problem? I tell you what, this is my therapy. I don't need therapy. I've never known anything like it in my life. Because I realise these are the standards now? Really? Can you imagine Mrs. McCluskey in Grange Hill calling Dion Markland to her office? She'd be like, "Are you a delinquent school student?" "No, I'm a teacher." Calling someone a CUNT in your house share, one of the other tenants, in your private life, you, as a teacher, you have to have a level of conduct. I understand standards may be low nowadays and all that, and there's been a social engineering thing going on, you know, this Luciferian university social engineering and pro-mind control. Tavistock comes straight out of Tavistock, of course. But even so, it's demented behaviour. I could not believe it. I put it in one of my videos. She left her teacher's notes on the shelf where she's saying, "Fair enough. I feel like I sometimes get suicide. I sometimes feel like self-harming, and I sometimes get lonely." And yet she's telling me that at least I've got friends, like a 15-year-old. I've just approached another tenant in my house share very politely to ask several times if she could keep the music down. This is not normal behaviour on any level. And a landlady who wanted to help me write a book, saying it's all right for a school teacher. She actually the landlady actually texted me, it's all right for a school teacher to smoke cannabis. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm in the kitchen, and she actually had the landlady on the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning, on loudspeaker while I was in the kitchen at 3 o'clock. And she looked at me and said, "There's a food thief in this house." And I just thought, ignore it. They are attention seekers. The landlady and this demented loon are attention seekers. And the judge and the legal rep, who is obnoxious, rude and obnoxious, but she could see that the landlady was a fantasist. Honestly, this BHT legal rep, both of them were going to help me make a counterclaim, and then they decided that they were too busy. Whilst Alice Victoria Scott, the landlady, is driving us all mad, the legal rep went, and she rolled her eyes and looked at me. So she was getting fed up with... Honestly, it's like a clown show. It really is. But I'm now thinking this must be so common, because I've literally had to... I'm still got a mindset that's in the 1980s and the 1990s, and I've been brought up normally, you know, very middle class and with etiquette and, you know, how to behave in public. And I've got to sort of... I'm still in this state of trying to get round to the idea of this is how it is now. This is the world. This is clown world, you know. Anyway, so but I've been 3 weeks self-funding, and I've got to find out now. I'm going to wrap this up, but basically my partner, so I do want to make it to the, as I'm talking, I'm feeling a bit better just because I'm talking. But I'm in a terrible state. My partner, it's not making any sense. I don't understand why he's ashamed. He doesn't want his parents. I haven't seen his parents for 8 years, and he says, you know, they can't deal with it, and they're of a certain age. But they're in their 70s. I mean, they're not in any poor health as far as, I mean, you know, they're not. Well, they've got the ailments that they have got ailments, but I'm not being funny here. I really am trying to be. I just don't understand why I've never had a, you know, how is she? But his father, he's saying his father keeps asking the same questions as me. Why does this keep happening to her? Why? And I'm saying it. Why does it keep happening to me? But why did I get no happy 40th birthday? Why do I never get, oh, mum and dad want to know how you are? No, he wants, I feel like he's gaslighting me because he's saying, he once said, mum wants to see you. And then another time he's saying, my parents say, is the relationship over? I mean, don't forget he left me to sleep rough. He was given a caring role through Care for the Carers. He was arrested, but he never once batted an eyelid when the police thugs, that dirty, filthy PC McCarthy, who arrested him after he beat me and called Darren a C word to my face. It was horrific abuse. If I had filmed it and the public were to see it, they'd be up in arms. I know this is happening to other people up and down the country in certain scenarios, but I've never ever in my life experienced physical abuse. I mean, I might have had the odd little thing with one of my sisters maybe, but I've never ever been physically. I did have some hands-on physical abuse with a creep I was with who came to my mother's funeral, a short-lived, very, very short-lived relationship, but something's just, you know, I've never had any. I've been beaten by public servants, the bruises, the injuries, and then this all happened in A&E, and then they gave me an X-ray, and that was after the bruises that I posted on my Facebook wall. And they were calling him a C word. Now, my partner has not reacted to this. He has not. When this Dion was abusing me and calling Darren, my partner, a CUNT, which is on YouTube and part of my evidence for the court, he didn't say anything. Now, I can understand to a degree if it's to not, you know. But what I don't understand is the other night he screamed and shouted down the phone at me a few weeks ago before I was locked out of the house. He shouted down the phone screaming down the phone at me to prosecute him just because I said, I'm going to text your parents, and he screamed, no. Now, I have not had any contact with them since the start of our relationship. So that's, 8 years ago? No happy 40th birthday. I still haven't had a gift or something. Not, you know, I mean, I'm not someone who thinks, I should receive birthday gifts. You know, I am an adult, but you know, something, you know, 40 is a milestone, and then my 41st. Well, that one I didn't get anything, and my partner kept saying, now yesterday I just had enough, because it took guts for me to open the suitcases and see what this evil demented nutcase has done. And this is what prompted the suicidal feeling. So it's on the record. Alice Victoria Scott, the landlady, has committed a crime against me. She's not been arrested, even though I've reported her for common assault. She doesn't even know what common assault is. She thinks assault has to involve injury. That's how stupid she is. But she's just demented. They all are. But when I opened the suitcases and that prompted these suicidal feelings, because I've got more valuable, because I've also had emails from my late father's and my late mother's estate saying, come and take your things, because otherwise we'll have to dispose of them. I'm dealing with all of this on my own. My partner comes back and I just said, I've had enough. You know, when no one is actually saying, are you okay? This is terrible. It's just constant invalidation, covert narcissistic invalidation. I'll get over it, you know. Everything that super empath has to go through, all the torture. I mean, we are on a journey. There's a reason why we're here, and they're jealous of us. But I've just had enough, and I said I just want to be left alone and all of that. So he then storms out. Now, this is what my partner does every time. He did it when I had my accommodation in New Haven illegally taken from me, which the legal ombudsman is looking into. That house that I was in was my childhood best friend's house. Can you believe that? She was born into that exact house. I grew up in New Haven. And it's now a council accommodation used by Eastbourne Borough Council, even though it's in New Haven. Well, my partner, it was good to come back to New Haven, but I was still getting the usual psychopathic abuse from the council. So my partner's then gone and sent me a text message after he storms out saying, no, I've deleted it. But basically he sent me a text message saying, I may, in capitals, well, he's never done this before, he's threatened suicide in recent times. I may as well kill myself, and you can say what you really think of me on YouTube. But he's only started doing this since all this abuse towards me has been ramped up. He's 55 now. He's just turned 55. He's still got 2 parents. I have got no one at all. I am in pain that I cannot even describe because I lost my soulmate. His mother said I could have a good life with her son, that he was sent to me from above, and yet she said to me what all these other narcissists like Sue Pocklington, the executor of my late mother's estate. Well, my mother died. Darren's mother, the executor of my late mother's estate, Sue, and my godmother all said, well, my mother died. So what? If I was a child and someone told me they lost their mother, do you think I would say, oh, well, I lost my mother? No. Because I still think like a child. The child that I was, that I am in here, my inner child. I care. I genuinely care. I'm a genuine empath. I don't even go around invalidating people, even in a really nice way. There's no nice way to do it. So I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry. And then I'd follow it up with, I can understand. Because she was my soulmate. She wasn't just my mother. Some people hate their mothers. Some people are have had such evil mothers, they're glad that when they die. My mother was my world. So don't ever say to me, oh, well, my mother died. What is it, jealousy? Is it bitterness? Because I loved my mother because I had something close? What are you trying to compare yourself? Because you can't. Everyone's different. If you want people to be compassionate to you, you have to show it yourself. Or forever be bitter. I am not lonely. I choose to be a loner because I choose my company very, very carefully. I don't like being around people because there are actually very, very few people, if anyone, who deserves my energy and my time. But, this has been fantastic therapy. It's just the evil of what this bitter woman has done. She's so demented, this landlady. She apologised. She had the nerve to apologise on behalf of the other tenants. I'm so sorry for what we've done. And then she continued to do what she was doing to me. She continued it. She couldn't help herself. It's like a tick. A narcissistic tick. They need their supply. They need attention. And I wasn't giving it to her. I ignored her. I blocked her. So she took it a step further. It's on YouTube. I've got her recorded saying, Bryony, whilst she was sending me threatening emails, you keep the rent money for yourself and go and find yourself somewhere. Now, the judge thinks she's mad because she's asking for interest. Not now. You're in contempt of court, love. You're an evil, evil, wicked person. My partner said to me, do you really would you rather be you or would you rather be her? I would not want to be in her shoes. No. I know to a degree where my soul is going. In fact, my mother said, my mother would never just say this. She said, before she died, she said, I'll be waiting for you. And believe me, even in the spirit world, nothing's going to stop her from doing something she said she'll do. So, I mean, nobody knows what happens when we die, but no one. You can talk about the Hebrew, Aramaic scriptures all you like, but no one knows. But I do believe that speaking the truth, lies are gonna get you. Yes, I'm suffering. I am suffering for speaking the truth. I am suffering torture like you would never know. I am so bereaved as well, but I'm right now I'm in two thoughts about both killing myself, wrapping laptop wire around my neck, going up to Beachy Head and topping myself, which takes guts, because I would have done it by now for one thing. And also going up to London to the protests. To the rally in London with Tommy Robinson and Paul Thorpe. I've tried to message him, but I don't have his number. He used my partner's phone to leave me a message, and he's just inundated, absolutely inundated, so I can't get hold of him. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing, because The more people, everyone needs to be there. If you care about this country, if you care about, the Labour Party taking everyone's freedom, you got to be there. There's no two ways about it. But application for immediate restitution further to injunction for the claimant to immediately cease and desist an unlawful eviction. Yeah, so the judge, I'm waiting for, they set a court hearing date. Monique Prescott of Eastbourne Borough Council, well, she's now in the hub. Perhaps I shouldn't say this. Oh, well, I've said it now. She was waiting to see me, but it's taken me all day just to get dressed, but now it's the early hours. Basically, Monique said to my partner, I'm only saying what Darren said, I've got a bit of a soft spot for Bryony. Well, she didn't have a soft spot for me though when I told her that an old lady told her on my behalf that I was no problem, and Monique was saying to me, leave her alone, Bryony. I was traumatised. I'd just basically been human trafficked by police who had beaten me out of my flat. Yes, they're all watching this. PC Ford, PC McCarthy, and another one. He dragged me along the pavement out of Jevington Gardens, and basically they went, men that I've never met, still never met. The council got men to go in and clear everything out, and I had that flat for just 4 months. The care coordinator was sacked. The night porter was finally sacked after 25 years of bullying vulnerable people, a petition ignored by the Trestle Trust Food Bank. He was sacked for turning up drunk. And it's always me that gets into trouble for simply speaking the truth. Do you know what? He actually shouted at me, "You've seen a mental health nurse?" Yes, he's a Scottish Basil Fawlty. They're all mad. I played recordings. I played him. He got me a cup of tea. Sit down, I'll get you a cup of tea. He was all like this. I mean, who employs an alcoholic to deal with vulnerable people with mental health issues when he himself is nervous with PTSD and shouting at people? Well, he's just shouting at people because he shouts at people. I saw people in tears. I mean, it's an absolute diabolical disgrace. So a response to my father's death, me crying down the phone to reception, results in me being beaten and dragged out of my flat. I had a valuable gold heirloom ring in those. And now it's happening again and again and again and again. It's criminal gang stalking. It's criminal because it involves the police and the council. Criminal gang stalking. Organised gang stalking. Masonic ill treatment. VOMIT. Victim of Masonic ill treatment. But this is what Jeff Mealing is. He's going to be up in London doing his talk. He's been for town council. I'm now in a community, a wider community, where all the truthers, it's like they're all connected up. It's brilliant because I've now got a wealth of information, a wealth of obviously, what with YouTube and algorithms and the people and, and of course the fact that it's a small world. Ray Savage being an ex-Sussex police sergeant whose nephew was found in the North Harbour with concrete tied to his legs. He dated the mother of children I played with. He comes from a very small place, shall we say, not too far from here. And Yes, he's been in a Masonic lodge back in the day, and it was all hush hush, yeah. But he's also met a victim of the Hampstead satanic ritual abuse victim. I've met victims of satanic ritual abuse, alleged ones. After all, a lot of these, I mean, there are some prolific truthers who have let me down, and John Wedger from MI5 was one of them. He said, I must have done something to deserve what was done to me, but that, so I'm not going to say whether I think, it's not for me, I don't have the right to say whether I think satanic ritual abuse of children is real or not, or just another thing that's been made. I'm not in a position to, I have no right to make that judgment. But I have seen so much, and even on a boots on the ground level, what the hell happened to John Alexander Patterson? No one will say anything. He's from the same town that I grew up in. I could say some fascinating things. What with Brian Setchfield, who set up Crime Stoppers, he was from Seaford, and he was related to the Dauphin, Marie Antoinette's son. But sorry, those little thugs, PC Ford and PC McCarthy, those filthy, dirty little thugs. Yeah, I'm full of BS, aren't I? Yeah. I tell you what. Well, I've got some cracking stories. I just wish I hadn't gone on to Ray Savage about Michael Flatley, but hey-ho, there we go. I could have said some amazing things about what happened to my mother and what she did. He gave me my childhood friend's mother's number, and I lost it. And then I was beaten out of that flat. I tried to tell him, I tried to text him, but the thing about trauma victims, because I'm a genuine trauma victim, is with PTSD, we all comes out, and then we go into, we've been silenced. Because it's a mind control thing, this Masonic abuse, using these thugs who probably are so stupid and thick they don't even realise that they've been mind controlled, these police thugs. They are brought in to abuse deliberately. Why do you think that same thug arrested my partner? They know who to bring out, they know who to call out, they know the effect that they will have on their victims. The ones they're trying to silence. Crumbs, I worked with a Freemason, but now I really am starting to understand the dynamic of the gang stalking thing. Because I have gone into that silence thing. I'm learning through experience. I was told by a locum that me and my transgender sister need trauma-based therapy, and I've had, if you like, more a case of trauma-based mind control, because I really do feel under control, even with my partner. I'm in such turmoil. I cannot begin to. I've been so suicidal. But the thing is, I've got to. I can't not. I've got to fight this. I've got to keep going. So, anyway, I've said everything that I wanted to say. So, I just don't understand why my partner, why he doesn't want his parents to know about my YouTube, because he also said they'll think that you've done something to deserve it. Well, that doesn't make sense, because that's a new one that's popped out. Sounds like John Wedger. It's all narcissism. It's just, I really don't, I just don't care what's real and what's not. I really don't care. I just know that I deserve better. Because, my partner's now coming across as a narcissist. It's like, these bloody flowers, these are not for me. These flowers. I got excited because I saw him walk in the door with the flowers and I thought, oh, he's bought me flowers. No, they are because he had to go to Tesco to complain just because a woman didn't do anything when we were on the self-checkout. He doesn't like people looking at him when we're on the self-checkout, even when they're trying to help us. Now, it just happened to be an obnoxious woman who was extremely rude to me. Now, she wasn't extremely rude to him on this occasion, but he was annoyed because they were just stood looking at us when I didn't have enough money in my account and we needed to put money over and we needed to use cash, etc., etc. And they were just looking at us. But this woman is an obnoxious woman because I once said to her, can I just grab a bottle of soap? And before I could finish the sentence, she said, no, closing. He just didn't like the fact that she was staring at us, so he had to get down there and make a complaint. Fair enough, you might think. But these flowers, I feel that there's been a bit of manipulation because where's the is Bryony okay from his parents? Yes, he mentioned me to the supervisor, manager, whatever in Tesco. Probably said I was going through a hard time, but I don't feel those flowers were given to me for me, if you know what I mean. I want to hear, my mind would be at rest if throughout all of this, but he keeps saying my parents can't handle it, they can't listen, there's only so much that they can listen to. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? This is not normal. I should be able to tell his parents, hi Jill, hi David. Now, when he stormed out of here yesterday, actually, just before he did, I got his mother on the phone. I didn't get his mother on the phone. I hadn't spoken to his parents for 8 years. I left a distressing voice message. Then when he stormed out, because that's when he goes all quiet. Then he threatened suicide. He knows what it does to me when he walks out and abandons me. I'm all alone, etc., etc. The pain, it is horrendous. Then I leave a voice message for his mother in tears. Those flowers are not for me. Now he thinks a birthday present for me is winning something off the pier. So him sending me a text message, and he's never sent me a text message like this, saying, I've never actually had a text. It's very bizarre. This is the first time he's done this. The kind of text message that I would send him. I may as well kill myself and you can say what you really think of me on YouTube. Nothing new. I'm just telling it how it is. Why can't you do the same? Why can't you do the same, Darren? Why are you hiding so much? Why did you go to so much trouble to scream and shout at me? To prosecute you just because I wanted to speak to your parents. But you said nothing, absolutely nothing, when that vile creature in room 1, is it? Room 1? Was calling you a CUNT. That school teacher tenant. And I've got the evidence here on YouTube. Because it's for the court, isn't it? And you didn't mind the police calling you names. What are you hiding? Why did PC Harriet say you're a knob? And you screamed and shouted at me and I was crying in the hospital. I was arrested out of the psychiatric unit. What was going on? Why weren't you there for me? Bryony really needs someone. She's just been abused in the psychiatric unit. She's now being arrested in handcuffs out of the very psychiatric unit that 4 months earlier she was dragged into in handcuffs. That's illegal, that is. Yeah, I was crying so much I could have vomited. I have never in my life cried so much. PC Harriet was smirking. Yes, this was a few years ago when my blood levels, hemoglobin levels were at a healthy level, and I've lost a lot of blood because of this. Blood transfusions are life-saving treatments. You're killing me. The narcissists with an S on the end are killing me. If they really thought that Darren was abusing me, like the food bank advocates, we thought Darren was abusing you, we were praying for both of you, why the hell did they allow Sussex Partnership to abuse me then? They gave him a caring role. It's just narcissists against narcissists. You've created your own hellfire. That's all I can say. And if I kill myself, Alice Victoria Scott of Bedfordwell Road, which is just over the bridge up from the property at Whitley Road, if I do, make sure she's done for manslaughter, would you?